It's finally here! This is the new solar generator that some of you guys have heard about that I have not really told anybody about. We are doing kind of a soft launch of this because we don't want to overwhelm the company and we don't want everything to get backtracked and get pushed back months for shipping because we all hate that. So you have been selected to view this video. Not everybody will see this video. This is just a preliminary video. I've got the prototype unit here for the Titan made by Point Zero Energy. Now, I've known the owners of Point Zero for quite some time, and as you guys know, in the past, I've really preferred the Kodiak system. And the Kodiak system is still great. However, this unit, in my opinion, far exceeds what the Kodiak can do. Now, Point Zero, essentially what they've done is over the last year or so, they've been developing this system. They've essentially listened to everything that all the customers have said, and they've asked me a bunch of questions on things that I would like, and they've put it into a system. Now, again, this is just the prototype, so the final product will not look like this. Right now, I've got just a few simple things running. I've got some of these USB lights running. These are really nice. Actually, they're kind of like the Basecamp lights. They're still really bright, but they have this diffuser that slides up on them, and so it makes more of like a lantern and not so bright in your eyes, or you can put it down more to a focused light. But let me run you through what this has. First of all, the inverter is a 2500 watt continuous inverter. It still has a 6000 watt peak though, so that means you can still start up a bunch of equipment all at once, and you're going to be able to handle that peak just fine. A 6,000 watt peak, so that's actually 2.5 times its rated continuous watt, which nobody else has. Pretty cool. In the bottom here, this is actually an 1800 watt lithium ion battery. However, the finished unit is going to have a 2100 watt lithium ion battery. And so you'll get more capacity, but it'll actually be lighter. How about that? Okay, right now this unit is about 65 pounds, so it is pretty hefty. But I'm going to show you why I'm okay with that. Because in the history of all solar generators, I have not been okay with a unit this heavy. So I'll show you that in a second. First, I want to show you the different ports here. This is actually the power switch, and I'll come back to this in a second. But we've got 610 volt house outlets. They're all pretty crammed together, and I'll talk about that. We've got a 30 amp RV plug. We've got 2 DC plugs, like cigarette lighters. 2 more right here. Technically, these little USB pieces that are in here can actually pop out. Right now they're in there real tight, and they're meant to be a flush fit. But these could be used as well if needed for DC. But right now I like them set up with the USB. It makes things a lot easier. Over here is actually a bunch of the charging ports, and these won't be in this location either, but we've got solar, which is an Anderson PowerPoint, and then we've got the wall outlet charger, we've got the car charger, and then this is a parallel connector for when you can put 2 of these together. But that actually will not be on the final unit because it's not necessary. There's a different way to connect 2 of them together. So right now I've actually got 3 panels outside my garage charging, but it's like 15 degrees, so I've got multiple heaters running in here just to make sure it's all warm in here. It's actually really warm in here because I was running my heaters off the Titan. So I'll show you that in a second. But right now, oops, the panels are actually set up in series, which is a new deal. You see, I've got 3 panels, but the panels are coming in just on 2 cables. Previously with the Kodiak, we had to have a branch, a 3 connector, and then all the cables would connect in and so forth. But we don't have to do that with this new unit, which makes it more powerful. So right now, it's not perfectly clear, but it's we're making about 230 watts right now. And then we've got this Anderson cable going all the way back, comes around and in. And right now, so this is the programming screen. And the programming screen will be different from the main screen that you'll use once you get your final unit. When they have the final unit, they're actually going to have a screen right here that shows how much power is coming in from the panels, how much you're putting out, and how much you're using, what your battery percentage is at, and what your battery voltage is at. those are the four main things that everybody always wants to see. So there's going to be a screen right here showing those things. So this will be your display screen. That'll go down here. And then you'll have your programming screen up here. Now right now, it says we're inputting 54 volts. That's kind of hard to read. And it says output, but that's actually, we're inputting about 220 watts. So this is actually reading the same numbers that the watt meter is reading. Okay, so I want to run you through the different ports. I said I'd come back to this. This power switch right here, now I'm going to unplug the panels. Now it's just running off battery. I don't know if you heard that click. Now I shut it off. Whole thing completely shuts down. This is a breaker switch, which the beauty of it is when you go to storage, so let me back up. Any other solar generator that you have to store, it recommends that if it's lead acid based battery, you pull it out once every month and you charge it up, which to me is ridiculous. If it's lithium, it's recommended that you pull it out once every 3 months, which with the Kodiak, I was actually left one for a year and it still was at 100%. Now with this switch, because of how it's set up internally, you can store this battery for 5 years, turn it on, and be at 100%. How about that? So if you're waiting for a hurricane to come, because they always come, whether it's tornadoes or flooding or EMP, whatever it is, whatever type of scenario that's going to cause a blackout, you don't have to keep pulling your generator out, if you have the Titan, and wonder what percentage battery it's going to be at. So the beauty is this completely disconnects everything from the battery, so you can store it for up to 5 years and still have it be at 100%. No one's done that. It's absolutely incredible. Now, I flip it on. You see the DC turns on right away. The inverter takes about 10 seconds to get all adjusted and turn on completely. And that's because this has an MPPT controller in it, which means you're going to make more power per panel, and it's going to run much more efficiently. So with that being said, it has to figure out what it needs to do to run properly. I don't know if you just heard that click. It's been about 10 seconds, and that means the inverter is completely ready to go, and it's going to start running the equipment here. I can see these batteries are already charging again, and so on. So we've got the switch. Awesome switch. These 6 plugs, these 110 volt 6 plugs, are going to be different. The reason is, look how tight that is, right? So I've got one of these little chargers for my battery here, and if this were plugged in, if it wasn't plugged in the bottom, it would be blocking others. And so the problem is everything's so congested. If you have any other blocks like this, like I couldn't plug one more of these next to it because of how big this box is. So I can plug in a small connector, small plug, but that's about it. So the way that they're going to fix that is rather than having 6 all close together, like that was on the same on the Kodiak, and it is on this prototype, they're going to have 3 down here and then 3 over here, which means you could have a big honking plug and you'll still be able to plug it in no problem. So I like that. The RV plug will actually be moved over here, and all of the charging ports will be moved to the other side here. And remember, this one's not going to be part of it, so you have your solar. There's actually 2 lines of solar here, and right now, as it sits, you can technically put 1,000 watts per connector. So that means up to a maximum of 2,000 watts input power. Now, it's rated to be 1,000 watts, because if you charge lithium batteries too fast, you'll hurt them. So it's controlled to not let more than 1,000 in. Now, on that point, let's say you've got 2,000 watts of panels, you've got them outside, it's a bright sunny day, you're making 2,000 watts, but only 1,000's going in. But now, it's a cloudy day, and you have 2,000 watts of panels out, but now you're only making 1,000, well, you're still putting in 1,000. There's no way to overcharge this through the solar, which is a really cool feature, because on the Kodiak, that was something we had to be really careful of. We couldn't attach too many panels, especially on a sunny day, because you could overheat the system. So, Point Zero figured that out with the Titan and made it so that way you can't overcharge it, and it makes sure the battery lasts a minimum 2,000 cycles. How about that? Now, these DC plugs, so you'll have 3 110 volt here, and then you'll have 2 DC plugs over here, and then 2 DC plugs over here. Now this is actually a 5.5 by 2.1 millimeter plug. And it looks similar to the one that's on the Kodiak, but the Kodiak one is a 5.5 by 2.5. So this is a much more common connector. This is actually your battery reset connector. So what I have here is a reset cable. And what this means is, let's say you drain this battery all the way down to dead, right? With this, you can use 97% of the battery. The Kodiak, you could only use a maximum of 90%, okay? So, and once it hits that 10% battery life level, then it automatically goes into safety mode and you have to reset it. Same with this, but you get that extra 7%. It goes all the way down to 3%, okay? This, you connect to your panels and you plug it in right into there for just a couple seconds and it resets the battery and the whole thing will turn back on and charge again. That's pretty cool. For the last part, I'm going to show you something really special. I'm going to disconnect everything here. Got it all disconnected. I wanted to show you why I'm okay with this weighing around 60 pounds. You'll notice these little latches over here, right? Take these off. Take these off. And look at this. The top comes off. And it's not that heavy. This is totally doable. Okay. This is the base battery set. So each piece is about 30 pounds, which I can easily carry one-handed. So what it uses these huge connectors here on the bottom, and the base battery will always be the base battery. If you set this down, you can put your top unit on top, and I'll show you how easy that is. Bring it up, set it down, lock it. In just a few seconds, it's connected. Now, taking this back off, any of the other batteries, I'll get my legs out of the way here. Any of the other batteries will not look like this. And this handle is going to change as well. It's probably going to be a flat handle, and that'll actually make the final unit not as tall. Okay? So the new, or for any other battery, it's going to look similar, but on the bottom, it'll have a hole right here. And that just makes room for the handle up top here. Okay? Now, you'll put another battery on top, and then you can put that system, or the brains part, on top of that. And that means you'll have 4,200 watts of batteries all in one little unit. So imagine if this was sitting on your shelf in the garage or in the laundry room connected to your panel or something like that. Then it's easily accessible and you're not going to have to move it. But if you need to move it, it's just snap, 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 pick up what you need and get going. That I really, really like. I've been looking for a system that would do that for a long time, and Point Zero finally did it with the Titan. So that's probably my favorite part about it. So, you can connect quite easily just by adding more batteries. So it's expandable with lithium-ion batteries, which means you're going to get 2,000 cycles out of each battery. You can stack up to 10 of those batteries together for a total of 22,000 watts in batteries. The coolest part is the reason they say a maximum of 10 is because they thought if you went any taller, you wouldn't be able to easily reach anything and take it off. So you can technically add more. The other really cool thing I like about this is all these little plugs and stuff that you see here won't be here, so this will be much cleaner looking when you get it. But this will have a removable plate, and once that plate is removed, this little section here and these holes will allow you to connect a second system together and create 220 volt power, which means with the right adapter, you could plug this straight into your house, just like a normal, big gas or diesel generator. And once you've done that, you can effectively run your entire house, including your dryer or whatever, anything that requires 220, your well pump, and it'll still run it just like normal. It even has the option to where it can be in standby mode. So it's connected to your house, it's in full power, right? And as soon as the power goes off, it would kick on automatically. So that would mean this has to be turned on and engaged, right? But you would have it on a trickle charge essentially. So that way, whatever little energy it's using, it would, you know, just be plugged into a wall outlet, charging it up. And then as soon as the power went off from the grid, this would start running the entire house, just like normal. You wouldn't skip a beat. So that is another really cool feature that I like, because now I can run my 220 well pump, I can run my dryer. Obviously the dryer is going to require a lot of energy, and so will the well pump because they're 220, but by adding more batteries, I'm not so much worried about it. Now for each system that you connect together, once you put two of them together, you can add all those batteries, you can be running 220, but each system will technically be able to handle up to 2,000 watts in solar panels for charging. That being said, that it'll come stock limited to 1,000 watts. So once you've put on 4,000 watts of batteries, then it can be programmed to where you can put 2,000 watts of panels connected to it. The reason is because that 2-hour charging speed is about the max charging speed to keep it safe from damaging the battery. So you want to make sure that you're not charging it way too fast, but 2 hours is plenty fast. Pretty much even on a cloudy day, if it took 6 hours, you're still going to get a charge, or get it fully charged. But once you've got, you know, 6 batteries or 5 batteries between two systems or whatever, and you're anywhere from 2,000 to 4,000 watts in panels, you know, that's not bad at all. So the point is, it's expandable, it's lightweight due to its disconnecting ability, which I absolutely love. It can run a ton of things. This went through about 4 weeks of hard testing with the manufacturer. They were running welders on it, heating units, all those kinds of stuff, and it ran it perfectly. It actually never even tripped the breaker. It's got a breaker reset button here. It never even tripped the breaker, even though they were running it way above what its continuous wattage is rated for in the inverter. So, in case you can't tell, I'm super excited about this. I still love the Kodiak. I will still keep one Kodiak on hand. I'll get rid of my second one, but I'll keep this one as my main unit, and my Kodiak one will be more so ones I take maybe on a light camping trip or something like that, something where I don't need a lot of power. This one just blows it out of the water. Now, suggested MSRP is going to be right about 3,000 on this. So it's, and the suggested MSRP on the Kodiak was 2,000. No one ever sells it at MSRP. These are going to be selling, if I remember correctly, for about $2,300 or $2,400 on pre-order. And we're not taking pre-orders just yet. They want to get everything 100% finalized and thoroughly tested once it's been finalized with how everything's changed and the new battery in it and everything. So once that is completed, it'll be a month from production, from finishing production, and then, you know, days for shipping after that. So it'll be a few more weeks just until they can get everything completed. They're looking at 2 weeks for the next completed unit, and then we'll start taking pre-orders probably around then. So the next 2 to 4 weeks, pre-orders will be available. If you want one, I need to know, because like I mentioned at the beginning, we're doing a soft launch, which means they're taking a limited amount, so that way they don't get way back ordered. And that's why we're not publicizing this to everybody. So if you want to get one, by the way, I get the first one, which is the best part, right? If you want one of these, I'm going to be setting up kits, just like I've previously done with other systems, where you'll get a certain amount of panels so that way this charges in a certain amount of time. They are not going to be launching the 220 volt option at the very beginning. That'll come down the road. But if you would like one where you get 2 systems and extra batteries and all that stuff from the beginning, then I just need to know, so that way they can get that set up for you. So you can order it, but that's not what it's going to be the preset pre-order option. I wanted to show you guys something really cool. I've been playing with this for a little while before I did this video. I've got 2 heaters right here. I've got 2 cordless batteries charging right now. We're only using 35 watts. Okay, I'm going to plug in this heater. It's on high. Now we're about up to 600 watts. I'll plug in this other heater. It's on high, set to maximum. We're up to 1.5 kilowatts, 1500 watts. The heating element just kicked on. We're at 2.3 kilowatts. Running it no problem. This is why I love this system. So we're not even close to the 2500 watt mark for the continuous on the inverter. I need to find something else to run. If you have questions, I want to hear them. As soon as you tell me a question, I get to ask them if I don't know the answer, and then they can make changes if need be. So let me know what you think, what you would change. The weight is going to be the biggest thing, I know it, right? But remember, it is separatable. I don't know if that's a word, but you can be separated so that way you can carry everything easily. So this will weigh, essentially, each piece will weigh just slightly more than what one K2 will weigh. But you're getting about 2.5 times the power as a K2 for less than twice the price. So, to me, that's a pretty good deal. If you have questions, let me know. I want to answer them. If you want to pre-order one of these, let me know. Let's get you on the list. I hope you guys have enjoyed this as much as I have, and we'll catch you next time.